I'm John, and I survived a heart attack. So it was a hot day in August, it's about 93 degrees outside, but I thought, it's not too hot to go out for a bike ride. It was about 15 miles. And yeah, it was hot, but I was riding good, strong, came back and started doing my cool down, and something just didn't feel right. My body wasn't cooling off like it normally would. My other normal activity after I ride is to run some hills. So I wasn't feeling that great, but I thought, well, maybe this will help. So I got out next to the house and I was running wind sprints up and down the hills. And again, I felt fine. But there was this sense that something just wasn't right. It's really hard for me to explain exactly how it felt. So I cooled off again in the garden hose. I went up, took my shower, and then we left. My wife and I, we went to Academy Sports, and we were going to meet my daughter and grandson there, buy him some new tennis shoes. And so I'm riding along, and my wife's looking at me. She says a couple of times, "Are you okay? Because you don't look quite right." And we got to the store, and she asked me that again. I said, maybe I just need to get out and walk around a little bit. So I got out and walked around to the front of the truck, and almost fell down. And I put my hand on the hood, and she came around to meet me, and I handed her the keys. I said, "Take me to the hospital." So we headed down Atlanta Highway, and by this time it was starting to hurt. I was starting to get some chest pain. My arm was hurting some more. I was starting to break out in a cold sweat. And we're riding along, and I didn't know where she was taking me. She knows the area better than I do. And all I knew is I need to get to a hospital pretty quickly. And I was thinking maybe heart, maybe again heat stroke, something like that, but I knew it was serious. And so we were riding along, traffic being what it is. We weren't going quite as fast as I wanted us to. And we passed an emergency room sign. It was a St. Mary's emergency room sign. And I said, "Take me there." We went into St. Mary's. She dropped me off in the emergency room. I got out. I'm still ambulatory. I'm walking in. So I walk into the emergency room, sit down, and the nice young lady says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Well, I'm having chest pain and I'm feeling a little queasy and that sort of thing." And so I handed her my driver's license, and I stood away from. I got up at one point and stood back from the chair, and I said, she said, "Well, we'll get you in just a minute." I said, "That won't be good enough." And I bent over in the hallway, about to fall down, and boy, nurses came out, pouring out of the door, and put me in a wheelchair, and carted me back to the emergency room. They strapped me up with EKG. They're ripping my clothes off. I'm on the gurney. There's one nurse over on this side, another on this side, 2 or 3 people at my feet. People just going to work on me saying, "We're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you." And I could tell once they got the EKG results that things were serious. You can just see the look on people's face, and one nurse signals to the other one that this is serious with the heart. And so pretty soon they're putting aspirin in my mouth and nitroglycerin, and Dr. Neckman shows up, and he's asking me questions, and I'm answering the best I can and joking with him a little bit, as much as my mind would work. And he said, "Well, we'll get you up there just as soon as we can." He got his team together. They rushed me out of there, took me upstairs somewhere, and pretty soon they had a stent in me. I was watching it on the screen. I could see my heart. I could see when he opened it up. I could see the blood flow. And they saved my life. People ask me, people that know me, and they're shocked that John or Johnny, I go by Johnny a lot with my friends, that he had a heart attack. And so they call up and they ask me, my favorite line now is, "Well, for somebody that's supposed to be dead, I'm feeling pretty good." This was not just a minor heart attack. This was what they call the Widowmaker. I didn't know what it was called before, but the LAD artery, the lateral anterior descending artery, was 100% blocked by the time they got that stent in. And you just don't live through that. But apparently my heart was in good enough shape that it gave me a little bit more time to survive it. So yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm back on the exercise bike, regaining strength. I got a clean bill of health from the cardiologist, Dr. Neckman, yesterday. He asked me how I was doing and so forth. I said, well, I've been kind of holding back. And he said, you're free to go. He said, no restrictions. And so I'm back working out again and doing what I love to do. Yeah, I think the care level at St. Mary's and the people that I interacted with and the people that frankly kept me alive were great. Everybody from the nurses in the emergency room to Dr. Neckman who put the stent in to his whole team. All throughout the visit, the people were great. They were competent. I couldn't ask for more. Before this event, before my massive heart attack, I would have said, yeah, I suppose a heart attack can happen to anyone, but not to me. I have known people who tragically just dropped dead of a heart attack. But by and large, there were people who weren't really fit. They maybe were heavy smokers or something of that nature. But I was in good shape. I didn't have high blood pressure. My cholesterol was marginal. My pulse rate was always low. I mean, my resting pulse rate was somewhere in the 50s. And now you ask me, can anybody have a heart attack? I'd say, you bet, anytime. Go get checked early. And St. Mary's, go there.